Hi, welcome to Tina McDonald's Counselling Conversation. Today I'm going to have a look at the overwhelm and bombardment of well-being. Everywhere you look on social media, there's another advert, often by celebrities, selling you a device that you're going to connect yourself through an app and have this app dictate a huge section of your life and your finances. And I wonder if you find it as uncomfortable as I seem to be. So, for example, let's just list some of the ones. I made a note of things that I've seen just in the last couple of days. So we're looking at glucose monitors when you don't have a medical condition that requires them, but to let you know what your healthy pancreas is doing while you're wearing them. Then there's an armband that you can buy the band for a lot of money, and then you can sign up to an app and it will tell you what your energy levels are. I think the advert is being aimed at every single medical condition that includes tiredness in it, because it seems to always be about, will I shower, or will I use a wet wipe? Will I not go to yoga? All of those things. Then there is a headband that seems to have something to do with the frontal lobe of your brain and help with energy levels and clarity of thinking. And then, of course, there are influencers, celebrities, singers who come up with, in therapy, I was told this, but it doesn't actually include what happened in that session or how many sessions were involved with that conversation. And so as a measured support, I absolutely think that some of these will be wonderful to let you know what your body's natural rhythm cycle is. For example, the sleep apps, wonderful because they help you tune in and create a regular pattern, which in turn helps your circadian pattern for sleeping. The glucose monitor, if you are pre-diabetic, if that's helpful to let you see how exercise and how certain food types in succession of eating them actually work. All of those things are really helpful. A conversation being opened around a subject by somebody who's found it helpful, of course, is always helpful. But to go to a celebrity, a singer or whatever for mental health advice is probably not the best place to go. Likewise, the old Dr. Google, if it's a medical thing you're looking for, is also not always helpful. And so when we look at some of these patterns, it's really helpful to understand how our body works. But when we tie our body up to so many apps and so many conditions, it can be really difficult to manage the anxiety and the impact that that then creates, the financial stress, as well as the mental health impact. So as somebody who is quite happy to say, I wear a glucose monitor. And so I wear it for my medical condition. And I know that it's a wonderful, beneficial thing for me to wear in connection with the medical condition. But it causes anxiety. I feel overwhelmed at times when it's constantly talking to me. It's a medical device, but it still has the ability to give you incorrect readings. You need to know how it works. When you lie on it, for example, it will tell you you're in a hypo when you're not. All of these things, but because you're wearing it for a medical reason, you have the medical support as to why and the understanding of what it is you're using it with. But still, it impacts eating, relationships with food, and like I say, the overwhelm, the exhaustion of feeling that this is ruling your life, even though it's for a very positive reason, it takes its toll. So if you were to be wearing one of those and or one of the armbands. For example, I know on one of the adverts it said something about, I'll not go to yoga because it's telling me I'm tired. But that's not really taking into the account the human nature, the person, how that yoga impacts you as opposed to other people. Maybe that's your only human connection and impact with others over the whole week. Maybe you work from home, so that's the only chance that you have to actually feel that you are with others, with like-minded others in a social setting. Maybe if you went because you've been going a long time, you could do part of the session. You could then sit at the back and do the breathing and the connected energy of the room. Who knows what that offers you if you're shutting it down. However, if you go and you find it's really tiring and you actually regret going on the back of the other things that have happened in that day, then there's a learnt lesson. I also feel that on some of these sites, the actual kickback when you question and ask questions, people are brutal around you suggesting maybe being in connection with your body, as long as you're looking at some of the patterns, as long as you're learning, but you're not giving all of the responsibility over to the paid app and everything that goes with that, then maybe that open conversation is helpful to say, yes, this is for me. I'm going to give it 2 months because these 2 months look like normal everyday 2 months. And so therefore there are no major anomalies. And so I can see what my patterns are doing and then step back and work with my patterns. And maybe in 10 months' time, pop back in for another month to see how I've learnt my patterns. But when we use them for avoidance of interaction with the responsibilities of just being okay with what's going on, and also as part of the acceptance. I know from my own interaction, the glucose monitor is part of the acceptance of this is my life. It's really, really helpful if I have this, but sometimes I need to just be okay with being me and seeing if I can learn. This is great, this is not great. I know if I do that, then I shouldn't be doing this. Those are the things that make it about us. And when we feel it's about us, we offer ourselves control instead of the control being attached to a screen. Because screen time in itself, as we know, is detrimental. Getting up in the middle of the night and checking what your blood sugars are doing isn't great. So if you don't have issues with your glucose levels, doing that in the night, all night, every time you get up to go to the toilet, that's really impactful on anxiety and overwhelm. And I suspect lots of these others are in that same measure of overwhelm. So I hope that was helpful, because it's something that when I look on social media, and I have tried to interact with people in comment sections on some of these adverts to find out, is it helpful or is it as anxiety invoking as it feels when I look at them, to see what's actually happening out there. So please feel free to leave me some comments. And as always, thank you for watching to the end. I hope it was helpful. It might be that you're feeling, I know from some of the comments, people are saying, well, what will I do? I can't afford this. And so I hope it opens up that there are other ways and other communities that might be supportive and helpful. And as always, thanks for watching to the end. Like, subscribe, like I say, leave some comments. Let me know what these things are working or not working in your life. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.